We did it. We're having fun today. Not a best league 3-2, but I've already recorded a bunch of stuff because I think some of the things on the match is really instructional. Goblins versus mono green. So why don't we take a look at the match. First hand, we got 2 breakouts and 2 Foundry Street Denizens. You always want to look at the 2 Foundry Street Denizen hands because those, if you get your draws right and breakouts, they give you a lot of versatility. If you find a Renvelt Hordemaster, you get some 1-drop draws, and you get a Skirk Prospector, you can chain out a lot of creatures on turn 3 when you have 2 Foundry Street Denizens on board, and that can sometimes get you a turn 3 win. So, without much ado, in turn 1 play, I'm going to put down the Foundry Street Denizen, and I see the elf. Well, I'm not thinking elves, I'm thinking mono green, but you know what goblins think about elves, right? So, let's see how we can react. Get the breakout. We get a conspicuous snoop off the top there. We had some Battlecry Goblins as other options there. I don't like having Battlecry Goblins out that early. I'd rather get more long-term card advantage using the conspicuous snoop. So, their turn 2. They have the 3 mana. We didn't manage to remove that. Other thing with Gout, if you can find a creature like Cacophony Scamp that can sacrifice itself and deal damage, it's really good for taking out the turn 1 Llanowar Elf. But we come around back to my turn, turn 3, and we get a Renvelt Hordemaster off the top. We're going to play our Foundry Street Denizen, and we're going to play the Renvelt Hordemaster from our hand. Gonna rumble in, see what they do. They trade the Old Growth Troll there. For that, we exile the breakout off the top. I'm going to keep my exile tab open so you can see all the cards that get missed by the Renvelt Hordemaster. But we don't care, because they're down a creature. We want to keep their board a little bit freer, and we see another castable goblin off the top. In their turn, they play the Kiora Behemoth Beckoner. I'm gonna put down an Outcast Trip Blazer. They've gotten a significant card advantage here, and they can leverage that into more mana if I let them untap with the next turn. My draw. Open up the Skirk Prospector, and holy moly, do things start going crazy off the top of my deck. Now that's a lot to follow there. But essentially, because I found the Skirk Prospector, I started chaining off goblins. I do my goblin combo, where you exile just cards using the Renvelt Hordemaster, and wow, there you get through 3 of them. So, we not only pump our Foundry Street Denizen, but we also get to do some direct damage, play that around. We take out the Outcast Trailblazer, and we take out the Llanowar Elf, and we're rushing over a lot of things here. They follow up with Cavalier of Thorns. My turn, it's going to get even messier. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over so much there. I thought the big turn was the next one, but I draw a land. It's always good. Cast things off the top. I'm starting to get some damage. I pumped up my Foundry Street Denizen enough that I feel like I can attack in with it and just rip that Sokenzan off, see if I can find anything useful underneath there, or if I'm going to force them into trading the Cavalier of Thorns. So they're only at 4 health because I've been doing direct damage to the dome. If I attack with everything here, I force them to take the bad block and deal 6 damage to them, puts them at 1 health, which is a lot better for me on my subsequent turns if I want to find another Fireblade Charger or Cacophony Scamp. Their turn, they get the Outcast Trailblazer. I need to find, well, I have 3 creatures. I need to find 1 hasty one to get around their board. Off the top there, I get the mountain. I'm good on lands. I play a lot of hasty creatures, a lot of haste enablers, and there it is, the Reckless Lackey off the top. I have everything that I need to finish out the game, and so the opponent conceded. Was that a good time? There's so much things going on there, and if you haven't seen my video already on how to combo with the Gruul goblins, it's a non-deterministic combo. It follows up on their aggro game plan. It's really fun, and you can maximize your draws really well by sequencing it correctly. I highly recommend that you check it out on the channel, but, you know, I'm not sure if this YouTube thing is going to be long-lasting, but I'm enjoying posting some videos doing these recordings because I want to talk to somebody about Gruul Goblins. I want them to gain in the Pioneer meta. It's a great deck. And look at this. You're playing 22 lands. You can't draw bad land hands. If you do, you can mulligan them. It's going to come back. for an aggro deck playing 2/2 lands, it's super consistent, especially with these breakouts. I'll talk a little bit about the sideboard though, because the sideboard matches against green are very important. Well, you might think that the Foundry's Deep Denizens, they did a lot of work for me last game, so I want to keep them in, but no. Those and the Reckless Lackeys are what I took out. You see the rest of my sideboard there. So what did I put back in? Well, I didn't update that list. I have 2 Fanatical Firebrands in the sideboard, specifically go against mono green and, well, sometimes spirit stacks, because this gives you answer against turn 1 Llanowar Elf or Elvish Mystic. And, as you can see, my opening hand, I have exactly what I want to counter their deck. I have 2 2-drops, 3 lands, and I have 2 parts of my combo, the Skirt Prospector and the Conspicuous Snoop. All I need to do is get the Run Belt. I can get that with the Breakout, hopefully. So, let's see what they do. Well, the opponent puts down Forest Leyline on their first turn, and that's the nice thing about the Breakout, you get to dig. And if you dig, you can easily find that Masked Vandal, which is going to exile it, and just clean up their board so that they don't have anything left there. I'm going to put down a Skirt Prospector. I want to sandbag the Fanatical Firebrand, and I didn't really feel like going full aggro. I can surprise them with some burst damage next turn, just to see if they have the Elf, because if they have the Elf, what do you know, there they are. So now I can assess a little bit on my turn. Draw another land. I kill their Elf with the Fanatical Firebrand, and I rumble in for 2 damage. Well, now they're finally on their 3 turn. This is looking a little bit bad because they got a Kiora, they untap a land, or, no, they had 4 mana because they used to Leyline and the Nixos, so they didn't need to use the untap. Turn 3, mono green is starting to pop off. How can goblins counter this? Well, in time for us to get that breakout, you saw a couple of cards there. We find a Conspicuous Snoop, but even better, after that, we find a Masked Vandal off the top of our library because it resets the top of our library, and that Conspicuous Snoop allows us to cast our goblins and changelings, creature type, off of the top there. And we drew a Fireblade Charger into hand. So, I needed to pay attention to the sequencing properly here, so I was trying to figure it out for a second. What I do first is I attack in, and I'm sending everything at Kiora, because I want to get that off the board. If I attack with the Legion Loyalist, I give all my elves first strike trample, so they can't block with the Mystic unless they want to lose it. They don't know, though, because I have the Fireblade Charger in hand, but they are going to lose it, because I cast it, I sacrifice it, deal 1 damage equal to its power to the Llanowar Mystic. That was cast off of the Legion Loyalist. Because I played the Stomping Ground untapped, I have a green source. That lets me get my Masked Vandal. I can exile their Leyline of the Guild Pact. And once that's on there, I reveal a Cacophony Scamp. I sacrifice the Masked Vandal, play the Cacophony Scamp. And you see that. Turn 3, they take their draw. On to turn 4. I've seen 13 cards. They have a Kiora on board, they've had all their lands, they've played 2 elves, I've removed all of it, I've exiled their Leyline, and they just can't stand up to goblins. They don't want to stand up to goblins. We ran them down. Now, I wish it was a better league, and not to say that this deck is 100% foolproof, it's not going to work every time, but I beg you, please, 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 try it, play it. It's got some wicked fun gameplay, it's very fun to learn, it's very in-depth, and when you start to get the synergies and everything, it plays really nicely. I've been grinding positive now on Magic the Gathering Online, which is a very competitive meta, for a year and a half, and I'm not the best player. I've made mistakes, I show mistakes, I talk about mistakes in these videos that I've been doing. You know, there's things with sequencing, there's things I'm exploring all the time to make my gameplay better, but at the end of the day, this deck is very strong, It's very strong against a lot of different decks in the meta. And sometimes when you roll the good matchups, you just come out ahead. And for me, somebody playing on a budget, you know, doing my 9 to 5 and everything else, I got wife, kid, and, you know, family guy. Got a lot of things on my mind. The only reason that this deck is not consistently showing up on the leaderboards is because nobody is playing it except for me and another guy, one other person who saw me playing it, and we've chatted a whole bunch. And from going back and forth on that, I mean, like, if you can figure out how to play this deck properly, you know, you're going to be putting up trophies. Easy. I think that, you know, if a fool like me can figure out how to grind positive on this, so can you. It's just ahead in the meta. Nobody is prepared for it. Nobody's looking for aggro. And right now, with the green sideboard, I mean, all of this is very beautiful. You have all the answers here for vampires. You have the answers for control. You have answers for control and aggro and like everything else. It's not that you have 100% favorable matchups, but you have enough to move the needle, and with skilled play, you're going to grind positive. I keep on saying that, but you know how Magic is? It's swingy, and part of goblins, part of this deck, I mean, it's a non-deterministic combo for finishing up your aggro plan, but incidentally, you just get so much value out of things. You get to spend a lot of mana, you get to spend a lot of game actions, and it's a lot of fun just deciding where to put your damage, what things to remove, and how you're going to stall out your enemy's plan. In the most goblins fashion possible. Because, I mean, look at them. You're just feeding goblins into Skirk Prospector to dig through your deck to get more cards. It's absolutely bananas, and I want to share that with the rest of the Magic world. I love Pioneer. I love brewing, and if I can brew something like this, then like, hey, Pioneer is the format for you. I know that you can take this deck further than I did. I know that there's a lot of talented players out there who can play it better than I do, and I want to see it put up some numbers. So jump on top of the Goblin team, get on Green Goblins. It's a fantastic ride, and see you out there in the queues. Thanks.